Good morning, everyone. No spiel today. None of all this advertisement or anything like that. This is a show for Dave Harrison's greatest 11 in tribute of his memory. We've obviously got good friend Paul on and good friend Billy to Dave. It's going to be a bit of an emotional show. We will try our best to keep it together, but we want to have a laugh in his memory and go through all the stuff he told us about the players that he really enjoyed watching. So this should be fun. Are you good this morning, Paul?
I'm tired, mate, but I'm good.
Yeah. I think we're all tired, aren't we, after last night?
Yeah.
It was a fun day yesterday.
It was great. It was great.
I think we must have completed about 3.5 hours of transfer rumours yesterday on both channels.
Oh, at least. Well, no doubt about it, but no. Pleased we're doing this, though.
Yes, definitely. Billy, how are you?
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same. Tired, but feel all right. Friday morning, happy days.
Good.
Weekend's here.
Yes. Very quickly, just thank you to the 2 new members that came in last night. It's really appreciate that happens, but we're not talking about stuff like that today. It is literally just all about Dave. There is the $sign if you do want to hit it. We will donate all the money to the funeral. It'll go straight to Paul because Paul's collected an amazing fund that he's already got. And one of our new brothers over in Saudi Arabia donated £1,000 on Paul's show. Was it yesterday, Paul? Or was it the day before?
Yeah, last night, yeah.
It's just incredible, That just shows you what kind of person Dave was, and he touched a lot of people. And it's credit to you guys as well and all of us for Dave being on our shows, and he came across as such a lovely person. So people wanting to give their money to him, it's just incredible. So we'll quickly get through some comments. Morning, Louis. Yes, Trippier can't point to the badge though, can he?
No, he missed the badge.
I'm just saying he's pointing to the sponsor because they're the ones who bought him.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually.
Yeah. Danielle, thanks for joining. And yeah, we're going to do him proud, hopefully. Looking forward to this, Sean. Feel sorry for you as Baz has had to drag you out of bed this morning. I had to drag myself out. I took the little into school this morning. After 6 hours sleep, I've got that. Good morning, Baz. So pleased you're doing this for Dave. Thanks, Keith. And I'd say it's credit to Billy and Paul for coming on and doing it as well. Like I say, I only know him since January and met him a couple of times, and he was just such a sound guy. It's sad news. But yeah, we're going to try and be happy today. We're going to try and do something fun. Good morning, Billy. And last one, it's great, all the stuff you're doing a day's memory. He would be so proud, guys. And stop saying you're tired, Paul. I've already been to work for 5 hours and I'm back at 3 p.m. Oh, God, that's nasty.
No, I don't get any slack off Caitlin, I'll tell you. She's hammered.
Definitely not. So unfortunately, I missed your fan forum, Paul. So I just want to quickly just say how much Dave actually meant to me. I mean, not a lot of people know, but he messaged me a lot as well. For a bit of a funny story, obviously, I met Dave through Paul, through doing the Horseman. He found me on Twitter. We started talking. He was telling me about his archery and all this sort of stuff. And I was actually generally very interested in it, even though I took the piss out of him quite a lot about it. He took the piss out of me with golf as well, though, didn't he? So
he did, yeah. He got his own back.
Oh, damn right, he did. But I decided to try and start a show, Channel 69 News. It was a bit of a laugh. Billy, you got involved in it. But Dave was actually the first person I asked because I was very interested in athletics and doing stuff. And I said to him, Dave, do you fancy doing this? He went, no one wants to listen to me. It's like, Dave, I know, but I like you. So I want you on the show. All right, then. As simple as that. You know what I mean? There was no arguments. There was no, I'm not going to do it. He just went, all right, then.
I know. I think that me and Billy were talking about this the other day, though, when he came on to do the athletics. He started with archery, and he never got round to the athletics. No. he just made sure that archery was number one, and he didn't change at all. He just kept it as archery, and then I thought, when's the athletics coming? Back to Baz.
Back to Baz. Yeah, we got a little bit of athletics every now and again, but it was more about his archery and everything. And he was so dedicated to that sport. I mean, all the stuff that he did going down there and doing the actual events and marshalling them, and he loved it, and it was a massive part of his life. And then the second story was obviously when we went to see Peter Beardsley. It was only the second time I'd actually got a chance to meet him. We spent a good 4 hours in that bar. talking, listening to Peter, and then having chats in between and that. And the weather was absolutely horrendous. And I mean, you could see the wind blowing sideways. Me and Andy were sort of stuck. We thought the metros were going to be off. And even though we lived a half an hour away from Dave, he just went, right, lads, jump in. Do you know what I mean?
He wasn't having it. He wasn't having it that you were getting.
He wasn't, was he?
Trains were off. There was hardly any taxi.
Yeah.
I mean, that night, the weather was just... it was awful.
It was horrible.
It was terrible. It was that storm, wasn't it? And then, but no, selfless as he was, he just said, right, get in the car. I don't care. I want you home safe. And that was it. Yeah,
absolutely brilliant. Like I said, you had to take a few detours to get home as well. I was actually quite worried about him getting home, but he made it home safely. And, that's a credit to him. He wanted to make sure we were all right first before himself. And that's how selfless he was. He was just an unbelievable guy.
Yep.
Thank you, Caitlin, for donating £5 to the fund, and also Julie as well. So
it's Nick, by the way. It's not Caitlin today. It's Nick.
Oh, right, Nick. Hi, Nick.
But they both take the piss out of me as much as they can. It's one or the other. But it's Nick today, apparently.
Right, well, I'll keep calling Caitlin then.
I
know. Long live the king! Yeah, the king of Northumberland. Right, so this is going to be Dave's greatest 11. From what we've heard him talk about the past and talking about players that he likes to enjoy watching. So we're going to do a best 11, 5 subs. We won't go for 7 because that'll take all day. And then we'll do these favourite manager as well. So we've got to start off with the keeper. Paul, who are you going to throw into the hat?
There's only one goalkeeper really stands out for me that Dave always used to talk about when we used to have those. We had talks outside the food bank about old, and then whenever we went anywhere, we'd always get onto the conversation about the old Newcastle sides, even the Peter Beardsley night and stuff like that. And then whenever I saw Dave in private, it was always got on to. There's only one keeper. It's Willie McFall. The way he spoke about him, undoubtedly he thought the world of Willie McFall when he was watching him, and he harps back to the semi-final against Burnley at Hillsborough. If it wasn't for McFall in that first half, we wouldn't have been alive in that game. So, without a doubt, it has to be Willie McFall. Mention for me, special mention to Pav and to Shea Given as well. He thought very highly of those two goalkeepers as well, but I can't really say anything apart from Willie McFall because of the way he spoke about him.
Amazing. Billy, do you want to throw any names in the hat and then we'll pick who should be? It sounds like we've already got him, but
yeah, Willie McFall's the name I've got on my list as well. And 290 times he played for Newcastle. Just a 6 and all in Ireland, but you got to think he was up against Pat Jennings in that time. Pat Jennings, one of the greatest keepers that ever lived. But yeah, Willie McFall, definitely great keeper. Great keeper. First one I ever saw as well for Newcastle.
I hope we're going to have a few more arguments about players soon because the show's going to be done in 10 minutes if it's this easy. Thank you, Danielle, for the £5 to go into Paul's pot as well for the funeral fund. So thank you very much. Like I say, we'll find out from the family what they want, and Paul will arrange it all, which is amazing to do. So I'm going to put McFall in here. So I am putting the team on, and we'll put it up, and then we'll tweet it out. And
are we go for a formation before we start the lineup?
Oh, that's a good question. Yes, do you want to go 4-4-2, or do you want what was Dave's favourite formation? That's the best way to look at it.
4-4-2.
4-4-2. 4-4-2.
Good old fashioned 4-4-2.
Yeah, go for 4-4-2 then. So should we start with left back? Billy, you want to throw some names in the hat that Dave enjoyed watching? I think John Beresford might be in there because he was a...
Yeah, he'll certainly be in there, but first I want to put in Frank Clark, who played for Newcastle for many years. Was let go at the end of the Joe Harvey era, thinking he was past it, and then went to Nottingham Forest and won a European Cup and a Premier League First Division title at the age of 33, 34. But a fantastic servant to Newcastle and would have been in the side from when he first went in 1969 all the way through to 1975. Fantastic left back.
Brilliant. Any other names?
Well, for me, it's going to be Beresford. I know he spoke very highly of John Beresford. To me, Beresford, I don't think he was ever the greatest left back to play for Newcastle United, but Dave kind of loved his work rate, loved his passion for the club. loved the way he would bomb forward. You know, so he's definitely in the hat. I can't think of any other left backs that Dave ever spoke about. He always mentioned Clark because he was. Did he say he was a really tough tackler? I think he said something like he loved to tackle and things like that. So, I mean, you know, you're comparing two left backs there. I can't really think of any others that really stood out for Dave, to be honest. I mean, left back's always been an issue since
a long time, isn't it?
For a long time. I mean, he did love Ollie Bernard as well, but that was just simply because of his personality and his, you know, the
and he got knocked out by Robert.
Oh, I remember that, yeah, straight in the face. And that was actually right in front of where Dave used to sit in the East Stand, so he got a eagle eye view of that. But I think certainly Beresford for sort of, you know, later on in life.
Yeah, and Beresford was a great servant, wasn't he? He stuck up for what he believed in, and when he had a go at Keegan at Villa, remember that with Ginola? I told you he wouldn't fucking track back.
Yeah.
Off.
Get off.
Straight off.
Later.
So, a good servant. So, I mean, obviously 2 different eras. I never got to see Clark. Beresford would be probably one of my favourite left backs as well, just for that. And like you say, we haven't had many great ones. Who should we throw in?
I'd be tempted to go with Beresford.
Yeah.
Purely because of the adventures we had in the 90s with him. You know, he was.
I think with the 90s, I think Dave had probably, you know, watching Newcastle as long as Dave did, the way he talks about the entertainers and stuff, it was probably the best football or the most enjoyable years that, you know, Dave had, apart from some obviously moments in the 70s that, you know, that he talked about with McDonald's, etc. And so for me, I'd probably go with Beresford as well, but certainly Clarkson with a shout at the bench without a doubt.
Oh, definitely.
I was thinking, was Clark also able to play at centre back as well, wasn't he? He was a bit.
No, we wasn't that tall.
No.
About 5'8", 5'9", something like that.
Oh, right.
He was a stocky fella, wasn't he, Clark? He was quite stocky from what I've seen on sort of photos and old videos that he was stocky. Not really centre-back material.
Hey, you never know. There's a few.
I mean, he probably would have played there if you'd asked him to. You know, you know.
But he played black and white, didn't he? He was out.
Yeah, of course he did. Yeah.
13, 14 years, you know.
It's a tough one, then, isn't it? But like I said, entertainers. You know, they've loved that era. So let's put Beresford in. Beresford. The left back and right back situation. I mean, for my era, I know, Paul, you're a little bit older, so you might have seen some better ones, but that we've never really had an outstanding right back in our time, really, have we? Or a left back when you think about it. I know Warren Barton might get a mention. I mean, he got it in England international, but we love him because he's a love guy.
Yeah, but Dave loved Warren Barton. I mean, he completely fanboyed out when he came on the show. He was star. Bless him. He absolutely loved Warren Barton. But there is other right backs that he did like.
Yeah.
You know, I'll throw John Anderson into the hat.
Yes.
He was a big fan of John Anderson, and John Anderson was probably when I first started going. You know, as far as I can remember back, John Anderson was the right back when I first started going for a few years. And what a player he was.
And he moved central as well, didn't he, towards the end of his career? But he was as hard as nails.
He loved to tackle. He just flew into his tackles. And the commitment, I mean, he's still Newcastle United, black and white blood to this day. When you hear him on the, you know, he's commentating and he's on the radio show on a daily basis. You know, he's just fantastic. And I think Dave loved that about footballers, especially sort of the sort of 70s, 80s kind of era. He loved the tough tacklers, you know, more so than the flair players. I think he loved a player who could get stuck in, and John Anderson was certainly one of those players. Yeah,
I love listening to John Anderson on the radio. I did. Very, very listen to the radio these days, but back in the day I did. It's how I used to listen to the match when I couldn't go. So then they were brilliant. A lot of them. And the Free Amigos, you know, who was it again? It was
Bloody Slavin.
Yeah, them lot. Really good.
Eric Gates and Malcolm MacDonald were the century.
And then you had the Ginger one, didn't you? Mickey Horsfield on it sometimes, wasn't he?
Yeah, he took over from Gatesy, didn't he?
I've got an agreement with Anderson. Billy, do you want to throw any names in there? So Anderson,
just one more for the 70s. Irving Natras, who was a really attacking right back, up and down the wing all day. Kind of one of the first ones to overlap, really. But a good defender too. And he was there for 10 years, 238 games. Could play as a midfield player also. But I think Warren Barton's the man for this job, I would think. Are we in agreement?
I don't know. I'm torn between Anderson and Barton, to be honest, mate. Because
Anderson as well, yeah.
The way he spoke about John Anderson and the way, but I think you're right on Barton because he, seeing his reaction when he came on the show.
He was like a puppy dog, wasn't he?
Oh God, as soon as, but I mean, the thing is, Warren was calling him David, which just made his day. He was like, every time he would say, you know what, David, I agree. And you've seen his little face light up saying, Warren Barnes agreed with us. And I think we have to, don't we? Just for, not just football in terms, but the fact that Warren Barton stood out as one of Dave's favorite right backs. And you could tell when he fanboyed. So, he just loved him on the show. Bless him. And it was great to see him. Great to see him fanboy.
We're not like the old Newcastle with Steve Bruce trying to put round circles in square pegs, mate. I mean,
but again, there's another
centre half. Probably better centre halves as well. So we're going to.
But there's another one that could. There's another shout for the bench. You know what I mean? We've got 5 to put on the bench. So
I'm thinking 1 defender, 2 midfielders, 2 strikers for the bench, and then so we'll have to do 6, won't we? We'll put a keeper on as well. Well, we'll do 7 if you want.
Why don't just do the 7 subs? Just do it as a modern day team, a modern day squad. Out you go. Why not?
We're going to end up with 22 here, aren't we?
We have to be. Dave would want us to be cutthroat managers here. Remember, so
definitely.
Yeah.
So I'm going to throw a few names in the hat for centre back to start off with, and again, it's more my era, but I'm sure Dave would agree. Woodgate and Albert. They were just 2 fantastic defenders and would complement each other very, very well. Albert was the one who went forward. Woodgate, in my eyes, when he did play, he was the greatest centre-back I've ever seen play for Newcastle. And I know he was injured far too much. But when he played, we very rarely conceded. And he made the difference when he was in that team. And you could tell when he was missing. So they're 2 names I want to throw in the hat straight away. Billy, what about you?
Bobby Moncur.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's going to be a good debate, this bit.
Last captain of a Newcastle trophy winning side.
Yeah. This is true.
Scored goals as well.
Yeah, he did.
In that final.
He did, yeah. He scored 2, didn't he? Is that right?
Yeah, he scored 2 in the away leg, I think. So Bobby Moncur, there's also John McNamee from that same side who was as hard as nails. My dad used to tell me about him. He's saying John Wayne had blink away from him. He was just that hard. He just really, really hard bloke.
Yeah, Dave spoke about McNamee a lot. He really did. He spoke about him a lot. I'll throw Glenn Roeder in there as well.
Yeah.
Very, very astute centre back, and Dave always spoke about him.
What Killer?
Nah, not. I think he.
So just more an iconic signing in the Keegan era to start it off.
His attitude and is just his hard man image, but I don't think he was. I don't think he can put Kilcline in the same class as McNamee and Bob Moncur and Roeder and Albert, Woodgate. These type of centre backs. I think it was just more the image that Killer came across as like a hero at Newcastle, wasn't he? Just because of the crazy hair and the big tash. So
glad you enjoy the shows, Charlie. I'm sure you subscribe to both channels.
Yeah.
Good lad. That's what we like to see. Morning, lads. Sorry late on this vid. Been in a meeting. Yeah, you did message Graham. Thanks for joining us. And work, obviously, we are doing this early in the morning. It's a bit of a strange time to do it, but we're all free at the same time. So, this will be available to watch. And this is why we want to do it, because this will always be here for anyone who wants to listen back and try and work out what Dave liked best when it came to Newcastle 11. So, we've got to pick 2 centre-backs. Obviously, we're throwing a lot of names in the hat. It's going to be a bit of a discussion now who we go with. I think we've got, personally, pick one from the sort of maybe the 90s, 2000 era, and then maybe one from the 80s, 60s, 70s, and then one will make the bench as well, or two.
Right, well, I'll throw the 2 names I think in, and I think Philip Albert, because he simply loved him, and I'll go for McNamee as well, because he never shut up about him, about how much he was a hard tackler. But that's my 2.
Right, Billy, who do you think?
I would have gone with McNamee and Moncur. Moncur purely because of the captaincy bit, but definitely McNamee. But I wouldn't be averse because he did like Albert as well, because he was a different kind of defender, wasn't he?
Yeah,
different kind of centre half.
One that liked to go forward. Yeah, I had another
secret,
right. So I did that on Wednesday, and I preset it to go out 6 o'clock today. Didn't realise I left it on AM. It was meant to go out 6 PM.
God, Barry.
So I had another Sinclair.
You're I don't know what's going on in your head at the minute. It's just complete
baby brain. That's what I'm blaming it on.
Know.
See, Woodgate, the best centre back I've ever seen.
See, Woodgate was exceptional, but I don't think he had the same status as like an Albert, McNamee, and Moncur.
Yeah.
It's just a shame. I agree with Billy in a way. I think McNamee and Moncur were the 2. But if we have to go from different eras, but then again, this is Dave's best 11. We're not talking about different eras, so
yeah, true.
I think we should go. I personally think that the way I heard Dave talk about certainly McNamee and Moncur from those days, I think we should go with them too. And I'd have them in the centre back positions to this day. To be honest, I'd love to see them in the back 4 for us now. So I think we should go with that. Because we have got we've got Barton and Beresford, haven't we? So
that's true
from the modern era. So I would stick them in. I don't know about Billy, but that's what I'd do.
Yeah, I'll be happy with that. Of course, Moncur's still involved in the club these days, isn't he? And
he is. He's still
there. There's 4 players we'll obviously come on and talk about later who we know he definitely
that's going to be a debate
really
now.
Difficult, isn't it?
There's not just them 4 up front guys. That's going to be a tough position to fill. That
really is.
Yeah.
Thank you, Michael, for that amazing donation, and that will go straight to Paul once we total it all up, and I'll send him across with our obviously donation as well at the same time. Bloody Albaz, yes, I had him there. Yes, I'm the king of Sinclair champion. I tell you,
Sinclair champion of champions. Yeah. Barry, what's happening to you, man?
John's going to start calling it a Thomas.
Yeah, I've had a Thomas.
John's had a Thomas.
We should get a little virtual trophy, shouldn't we? And we have to hand it out to whoever has the biggest Sinclair of every show or something.
Yeah,
that would be quite funny. Put your name on the bottom of the trophy. I couldn't believe I did set it right. I did set it for 6. I did get the time right.
Yeah, you did. You did.
Just AM PM. Do you know what I mean? Jesus, leave us alone. It's too early. Do you want to go left back, left wing, or right wing first?
Cool. Whatever you want.
Let's go left, because I think that's going to be interesting. Again, he obviously spoke about Ginola quite a lot, so he's obviously going to be in there. Billy, any names you can remember them saying? I'm sure you mentioned Ginola a lot, to be fair.
Terry Hibbett, kind of left side of the field.
Oh. Yeah.
Ginola, Robert.
Ginola and Robert, the 2 that I can think of that he spoke regularly about. I don't think there wasn't, from what I remember saying, though, I don't think there was any from certainly the 70s moving into the 80s.
I think we played a left winger. We played with a right winger sometimes and Barracuff, but not really a left winger. It was kind of 3 midfield players and a right winger kind of formation.
Yeah, for me, it's between Ginola and Robert, because he loved those 2. Absolutely loved them. But I think I'm sort of pointing towards Ginola, because he loved watching him play.
Yeah. I mean, Robert scored more goals and he was more of a threat, wasn't he? But Ginola just had that flair, didn't he? And that's what.
Yeah, Ginola had the kind of flair.
Him, didn't he?
Excuse me.
Keep on rising high.
Hello. What?
Where's Elsie?
She's in this room when I'm doing a live show. Not be long. Bye.
Brilliant.
She's only sitting 3 rooms away from us, you know. It's unbelievable. Kids,
definitely. They're a nightmare.
Sorry, I've just got to keep my phone on, obviously, for what I was telling you before.
It's fine. No. Yeah, definitely.
I didn't expect my daughter to ring us from the next room, but never mind. You know what she's asking? She's asking where the bloody dog is.
Oh, Jesus.
Where's Elsie? I mean, she's lying next to me here, so...
Brilliant.
Kids, man. Brilliant. Jesus, get back to school.
So very
honourable mention as well, by the way, one of the left wingers to Jonas Gutierrez. I think he liked him too, didn't he? Although he's not the same quality as Ribeiro in the lab, but he definitely had a bit of a soft spot for Jonas.
Yeah, I think a lot of Geordies don't know what he went through. Yeah,
I think mainly for the goal against West Ham and what he came back from, to be honest. So
yeah.
Oh,
Mr. Ball, high quality microphones. You can hear the other person on the phone. No, it was still singing as well, to be fair. So it's got to be Ginola on it.
I'd go Ginola, yeah, simply because of the way he spoke. He spoke. I mean, you could tell with Dave who his favourite players were because of the enthusiasm in his voice when he kind of spoke about them, you know. So Ginola was always high up there.
So Ginola. So right wing. I'm sure there's a few names he mentioned there because we did have some decent right wingers back in the day. Paul, who you throwing in the hat?
Well, I'm immediately throwing Nobby in there. He was a massive fan of Nobby Solano, but again, there was a few from early years. I mean, Billy, you've probably got a couple, have you?
Stuart Bowerclough.
Yeah.
Jimmy Smith, Jinky Jimmy.
Yep.
I know that was his favourite goal of all time scored by, but it was in a reserve game.
Yeah.
You mentioned that on the
He
show.
did, yeah. He did.
That's back into, I remember, the 70s, and really Jimmy Smith was more of an kind of inside the right side of midfield player than a winger. But yeah, and can't really think of anyone else. Gillespie, probably. Keith Gillespie,
yeah.
Barcelona game. He spoke about that quite highly. It's one of his favourite games, didn't he?
Yeah. Do you know what? I'm probably going to surprise you here. I'll probably go with Bowerclough because he spoke very highly about him. I mean, I never saw Bowerclough play, but from what Dave used to tell me, he was quite the winger.
Yeah, one of the reasons that we lost the 74 Cup final was because Joe Harvey took Malcolm out of the starting lineup. He kind of took us to Wembley, really, with his exciting wing play and what have you, and setting goals up for Supermac. For some reason, rested him for the final, took him out for some reason. I can't think what it was. He wanted to put pressure on. He wanted to stop Alec Lindsay getting forward on their left for Liverpool. And so he didn't play him. And obviously, Supermac was stood there at one end, didn't see the ball for 90 minutes. No service whatsoever.
And I think the way Dave used to tell me about that, I think that caused a bit of ruction, didn't it? Because they couldn't understand why he was left out. I know they give the reasons, but not playing him took away the threat of Malcolm McDonald, basically, because he was the main provider for Malcolm. So, I'm pretty sure Malcolm spoke about that when he was getting it at Steve Wraith too. So, yeah, I mean, Bowerclough was speaking from just what Dave's told me, was just an all-round quality right winger. But he could do everything. He could he had an engine on him as well, apparently. So, that's just...
I mean, because he also put Chris Waddle in the mix.
Listen, I remember watching Waddle in the 80s, you know, and he was a fantastic player. There's no doubt about that. But I've got to go with Barraclough simply because of the conversations I've had with Dave about him.
Can you believe this? Dublin Magpies actually got to do some work.
Oh my God! I seen a comment from before saying he was having a McDonald's.
Honestly, exactly.
What kind of work does this man do?
I know.
Bloody hell, man.
Yes, she was washing the dishes. She was trying to empty the bin as well. I told her to leave it and I'll do it after the show. Then she went, I can see pigs flying, because every time I say I'll do something, I always forget.
Yeah, I like the way she said Mrs. Baz.
Yeah, I know.
Mrs.
Baz. No way, John just tweeted saying glory, glory. Oh, he hasn't, has he? Jesus
Are you
Christ,
kidding me?
No.
Oh, God.
Spare ticket, but it's there's a spare ticket, but a junior ticket. Is that for the Cambridge game, Louis?
I'd seen somebody tweet out this morning that had they've just tested positive for COVID, so they were selling 4 tickets in Durham. But obviously there was quite a few people came on and said, I'll have them. So I don't think we're going to... Waddles.
It's amazing. It's sold out, isn't it? It's do you know what it is though? I love it that the fact
Caitlin's back now, is she? Bloody hell.
Yeah, she is, yeah. But it's amazing that it's sold out, because it is the first game after obviously Dave's passing, and I do believe, I hope a lot of people have contacted the club asking them to do something. And
well, I know
Jamie Rubin tweeted, didn't he? You know, about because he went to the food bank a lot.
Yeah, to be honest, Baz, I think planning for next Saturday against the game against Watford is probably better, simply because it gives everybody time to prepare something decent rather than a rush job. You know, if we're going to do an applause for him, which I think we should, you know, we've got, you know, it gives us a bit of time. I think it's going to be difficult for everybody tomorrow going up to the ground and not seeing him. For me, I'm just glad Susan and the kids are with me, because normally I'd go up there on my own, and I'd go up there really early, and me and Dave would meet up and just talk for hours, you know. But that's going to be hard for me tomorrow. But as it will be for most people who saw Dave outside the ground before the match.
Yeah, Brian said the same thing, because he used to go up to the food bank, do his dog. He said he's going to miss, you know, Dave running at him with his bucket like he used to run at you as well. And you know, that's the kind
I know there's something going in the Watford programme about him as well, so it kind of ties in if we can get something arranged for the Watford game, like a proper applause and things like that, rather than a rush job. That's what I'd prefer to see anyway. I don't know about anyone else, but
no, definitely, because no one was expecting this game to be sold out, so it would have been a bit of a cop off.
Yeah, and like I said on my show last night to Danielle, you know, you've got a lot of people going tomorrow who probably won't be at the Premier League game, because you know, it's a lot of families and kids going tomorrow because of the ticket prices. So it would probably be better to do it at the Watford game, because all the regulars will be there, you know, who knew Dave. So it kind of ties in with everything. So, and I'm going to speak to, I know Steve Hasty has contacts at the club. So I'll see him tomorrow and see if he can sort of get in contact with the club and put something out on their official Twitter and Facebook stuff that, you know, 69th minute, we're going to have an applause for, you know, Dave. But we'll sort all that out.
Good. Dublin says he's going to stop us from getting into Ireland. Don't want to go to Ireland anyway. It's a shithole.
Oh, Baz, Jesus Christ.
He knows I'm only joking. I actually do want to go to Ireland at one point, so please let me in. Apparently you're both watching it from different places. Right, there we go.
You're going to have to get pretty separate accounts. Kind of keep up what we used to.
Danielle will be on. Is she doing the Wednesday night fans forum from now on? Is that right?
No,
or is
mine's
it a different
Tuesday
show?
night, Baz.
Tuesday night.
Johnson
Clare's on Wednesday.
His video phone in chat.
Video phone in chat.
Yeah. She'll be on. She'll be on again for the review of the Cambridge game, which I think will be Sunday, and obviously she'll be back with us on Tuesday for the fan forum as well. And it just like to say that it was just lovely seeing all the kind messages to Danielle on the show last night, saying that they're so happy she's back on my channel and everything, because she is an absolute star. She wears a heart on her sleeve like me. We've got a tremendous tremendous partnership like me and Dave had, and it's just a shame the three of us couldn't be on there. But you know, Danielle's she's stressed that she's not taking Dave's place. She was going to come back when the time was right anyway, and have a threesome, be a threesome on the channel. But unfortunately, that can't happen now. But she's just picking up her mantle again and just keeping the candle burning for Dave as well. So, but she's like my little sister. I love her a bit, and I'm so happy she's come back on this, because we do bounce off each other as well. So, and that's what people like to see. Hosts that bounce off each other and have a laugh and stuff. So, I mean, look at that show last night that I came on to after I finished mine. Absolutely, we went on the lap at midnight. It was just brilliant, and those are the things that Dave used to love. When we're talking about Dave here, and he used to love watching shows like that he could just sit back, and even when he wasn't on it, he could sit back and watch and just have a really good laugh, and that's what I want to continue doing, and that's what Danielle wants to do, and I'm sure you guys do as well. Just keep the candle burning for Dave, and wherever he is up there, just watching down and watching the channels and think, right, yeah, I'm going to sit down, I'm going to relax, I'm going to have a good time. I mean, we even joked last night, he'd go into through the pearly gates and say to God, right, get off, that's my throne. I'm the king around here. Sit with his feet up and his crown on and sitting watching the shows on his throne. Bless him. So yeah, it's all good.
It is. All right, where are we up to? That be a lovely touch by the club. Yes, it would be. We got a spare ticket because a mate of mine has the flu. We've got the flu, then get to the game. It's not an excuse.
You know what? That's the first time I've heard somebody has the flu over this winter period.
Yeah, exactly.
COVID.
To be fair, I caught it. It was horrible, the flu, but I got it because the little one had his spray up his nose,
and
then I just
that as well.
live virus, and I just caught it straight away. Yes, I am doing my best for UK and Ireland relations. We're trying to keep them as far apart as possible.
Like I said to you last night, Baz, the perfect motivational speaker.
Yeah. I try my best. Yes, we are very glad Danielle's back, and we've obviously put everything aside, and it's great to be talking to her again. Morning, gents. Thinking of all of Dave's passing. Paul had a great chemistry with Dave on the channel. I hope you win VK Bridge for Dave's. Cheers. Yeah, I hope you do.
He's a lovely lad, Doug. He's a top man, top lad. Great little channel he's got going as well.
Yeah. I mean, it was so easy to talk to Dave, and the chemistry just flew regardless. And I remember when we did the rumour mill. That was one of his last shows, wasn't it? And I remember we were all talking, and then suddenly Dave started talking. Everyone just went. And then just
you tended to do that though, because he just started talking, and it was like he'd earned that respect, just like, it really was like the king is talking, everyone else shut the hell up, and it's because he used to do that so much on my show. I'd start a sentence and then he'd turn around and go, and he'd start talking, and I just thought, right, that's me, shut up, the king is talking. But there were always valid points. He never came out with any crap, you know what I mean?
This is it. Yeah. He knew his stuff, and the passion that he had for Newcastle was second to none. What we got? Hopefully a few goals for Dave. Yeah, fingers crossed. Well said, Paul. Rest in peace, Davey, legend. You'll be missed. My mate was born in Sunderland, but thinks he's a Geordie. Hey, it's fair. He saw the light.
Saw the light.
Got to give him credit for that one. So who we're putting the right wing again? Sorry, because we got a little bit sidetracked there.
Well, I'd go with Barraclough. Yeah, I think
Barraclough.
Yeah.
Right, now it's going to get really difficult because we've got centre midfield. So
we've got 4 places to fill and about 100 players to put in them.
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, Rob Lee.
2 midfielders, Christ alive.
Yeah. So Rob Lee was definitely one that he spoke a lot about. Gary Speed as well, obviously. So it depends what kind of midfielders you want in your team.
Yeah, but Gaz, Baz, you're I called you Gaz there.
I didn't. I was just Sinclair.
Hey, it's early.
It's very early.
I mean, Bill, you'll remember the likes of David McCreary.
Tony Green.
Absolute workhorse in the middle of the park for Newcastle. Tremendous player.
McCreary, brilliant player. They never stop winning. Tony Green's another one.
Yeah.
Tony Green, my dad thought was the best player we ever saw play for Newcastle. But a brief career he had because he got injured. Knee injury, which would have been okay to play with today. They just sorted him out.
Mm-hmm.
Then it wasn't. They didn't have the technology to kind of sort him out. But he always said Tony Green was the best player we ever saw. My dad, and I asked Dave about him a couple of times, and he kind of agreed he was one of the greatest players he saw too.
Mm. I think we've got to put him in because of the way Dave. Again, this is Dave's 11, and the way he spoke about him. You're right, Billy. I'd definitely throw David Batty in there.
He was
he absolutely loved David Batty. Rob Lee, without a shadow of a doubt, he loved. This is a really difficult one, really, because we've only got one place now because Green's.
And you've got to think about who's going up front.
Yeah, exactly. It's Peter Beardsley.
Alan Shearer.
Let's just get this midfield sorted out first, because I think
well, because Peter Beardsley can play in both, can't he?
Well, exactly. That's what I mean. Yeah, this is the thing.
Oh, hell's teeth!
And you always said Peter Beardsley was the greatest player you ever saw play. So we know he's getting a spot.
Oh my God!
Which means you've got to leave either Shearer or McDonald out.
We've got to put Beardsley in midfield. I'm sorry, Beardsley and Green.
Beardsley and Green.
And even this way, Kevin Keegan's not getting his place.
Exactly.
Hell's teeth! You forget about Keegan and all. It's just, oh my God! But again, we're putting in Dave's 11, who Dave spoke about highly, from our conversations with him, and I think Beardsley has to go alongside Green. I think the way he spoke about Green was, you're right, Billy. He did say he was the best player one of the best players he'd ever seen, apart from Beardsley. I think that's a class. I think he'd be happy with those two in the middle of the park, to be honest.
So Green.
Not the best defensively, but so what?
You got to get the ball off them.
Let's score goals.
Yeah. You score 4, we'll score 5.
Yeah.
But then again, I don't think with that back 4 we'd concede many, to be honest.
No, you're
depends how adventurous Moncoeur's been running up.
Well, we could have had Moncur and Albert. Can you imagine? Jesus Christ. They'd be playing as a front 2 most of the time.
Ooh. Find out the tune tomorrow. Too many good players. Are we thinking about? Yes, we're going to do subs. Tune Dave. So we're on to the strikers.
Oh, dear Christ!
I'm just going to leave you two to it.
Listen,
being the host, I get to do that.
Yes, sly man. Billy, I don't know if you. He spoke wonderful words about Malcolm McDonald. I wasn't lucky enough to see Malcolm play. But from videos I've seen and just the way Dave spoke about him, he has got to be in there. Absolutely lethal in the box, good pace, wonderful striker, and the fact that he would always talk again at Steve Race do just before Christmas when Malcolm and Gibbo were there. He fanboyed out again. His little eyes just lit up, and Julie was there as well that night. Julie Baker and our partner Dave were there, and we just you can tell when he talks about somebody, or he spoke about somebody in such high regard. And Billy, I don't know if you saw Malcolm play much, but I wasn't fortunate enough to just before my time really, but I've watched loads of videos on him, obviously, and what a player!
Fantastic player. Quick as Quicksilver really was. And in them days, you didn't get the billiard table pitches you play on now.
Yeah,
it was mud heaps in the winter, and sometimes they'd be frozen up. And we spoke about this on the No Fan show, didn't we?
Yeah.
Question was actually asked who if you couldn't have Shearer, which number 9 would you have? And we both said McDonald.
Mm-hmm.
30 goals a season, man, every season.
Yeah.
Even on them pitches, even with the laws as they were, then defenders were allowed to get away with anything.
He was hard. People don't give him enough credit for being for the absolute. I watch those old games, that you can watch on YouTube, but you can watch the full matches and stuff like. I've watched loads of them, and obviously listen to people talk about McDonald, and he put up with so much shit. He got hammered, but he could give it out as well. And I think from the way you hear him interviewed, Malcolm McDonald loved that. He loved getting stuck in, and he loved all of it. It kind of spurred him on. But back then, as you say, Billy, you could get away with blue murder, and he had to put up with a lot. But he had the pace and the skill as well as the finishing. So yeah, Oh dear me! No, definitely not.
I always remember a story that my dad told me about when he scored a goal. He was running through on goal and he was carrying a defender on his back at the same time.
That was the Burnley game, the semi-final of the cup. He had about 3 on his back, actually.
Yeah. But you remember back to that game, don't you? I mean, Billy, that goal, one of them he scored. You know, when he just when he latched onto the through ball from, I think, was it Barraclough that played them in there?
Terry Hibbett.
Terry Hibbett, yeah, he played that long ball, and just the pace of Malcolm McDonald and the finish. I mean, lethal, absolutely lethal. So you know, but he did really speak highly of McDonald. And I think it would be an absolute travesty if we left Malcolm McDonald out of the starting 11. I think he's got to be in there. He simply has to. So
then we've got God and God left to pick from. Milburn or Shearer.
What about Frank Pingle, Billy?
Yeah, I forgot about him. That was we've got Cardio Kutaku at the back as well.
Oh Jesus!
There we go. There's a little bit of a start on you, McDonald. You ran the fastest 100 meters in the Superstars TV program. He was a monster.
Well, the bloke that used to commentate that, Ron Pickering, he's long left us now. He was an athletics coach, and he believed he could coach Malcolm McDonald to actually break 10 seconds for 100 meters.
Really?
And he was winning it then at 10.6 or something like that. But
did he not say he could have trained him to win a gold medal? Did he not say something along them lines?
Well, he could have broke 10 seconds in them days. You would have been winning gold medals,
yeah. Wow.
I mean, he's winning 10.6 then in the Superstars against snooker players. It's like almost lapping them in 100 meters.
Yeah.
So
like Roadrunner.
Almost lapping them. Can you imagine 100 meters and you get lapped? Jesus wept.
Yeah, rapid. The only person ever beat him, well, 2 people beat him because his knee was gone, was the Olympic 400 meter champion David Emery and Keith Field and the rugby league winger with only 2 people to beat him, and that's when his knee was knackered. Yeah. And that's the only reason to beat him.
Yeah,
love it.
I'll throw 2 names in. Well, I'll throw 2 names in who he really spoke about as well. Who he loved the hard man image. Rambo O'Reilly and Billy Whitehurst. He loved those 2 simply because they were absolute nutcases, to be honest. I mean, let's face it. They were, you talk about the Mitroviches and these days losing their heads, but my God, you wouldn't want to mess with Rambo or Billy Whitehurst. My God, just animals.
I once saw Billy Whitehurst. Yeah, I can remember. I once saw Billy Whitehurst volley Brian Kilcline's face, and Brian Kilcline went off. I mean, you couldn't see his face for claret. Honest to God. And Billy White was he was killing himself laughing. He thought it was hilarious. But wasn't the greatest footballer, but hard as nails.
Oh, God,
And same with Riley. But also, you've got to bring in Wyn Davis from the late 60s, early 70s.
Yeah.
Win the league. Another fantastic player. John Tudor.
Yeah, John Tudor.
Supermax kind of partner in crime.
Stefan Kivash.
Tony Cunningham.
Oh, Tony Cunningham. What a guy. I remember him. He was bloody useless. I remember him. Who?
Rob McDonald.
Rob McDonald, yes. Yeah,
he was the worst I think I ever saw.
Mate, he was terrible, him. Absolute terror.
Come on, you got to pick one.
Supermax, definitely.
Well, Supermax in, but you got one left.
Well, there's only one really, isn't there?
Yeah,
we're saying all these names, but
you see all these names, but there's
inevitably we're going to get round to one of the blokes' name, aren't we?
Well, it's either Shearer or Milburn.
Oh, Jesus.
We all remember that one, Rob Knockburn. We talked about that earlier.
Dave did see Milburn play well, didn't he?
He did. Yeah. And he spoke to him as a
he spoke to him. He spoke about that quite a lot. For obvious reasons, it's Jackie Milburn, for God's sake, Oh my God. Do you know what? I never thought we'd come to
a 12-man team.
I know. we should have gone 3-5-2 or put 3 up front somehow.
3-4-3.
Yeah, can't do that now. Too late. Oh shit.
Baz, you choose. I think it's got to be Shearer because he scored the most goals.
Yeah,
but this is what Dave would want, though, isn't it? That's the thing. It doesn't matter about how many goals they scored. It's who we would want to see in the team, and it's a toss up between. I mean, like I say, picking McDonald was always going to leave one of the greats out, wasn't it? So, which great would he would rather see in this?
Well, we
team?
know. When we asked the question, if you couldn't have Shearer, which number 9 would you have? He said he said McDonald as well, same as I did. You know. So we know
it's a leading question, though, isn't it? Saying Shearer, you could have said if you couldn't have Milburn, you would have said Shearer.
First, so yeah, I think we've got to go with Shearer.
Yeah,
we have to.
Right.
And Milburn on the bench without a shadow of a doubt. But yeah, we have to.
The bench
couldn't
should be easy
leave Alan
to pick,
Shearer out.
it?
Jesus Christ, that would be a travesty.
Right. How do you do? I don't think you can do a bench.
I can feel him slapping me in the face as we speak. If I left Shearer out.
I'll have to put the bench separately because it doesn't let you put a bench on that lineup 11. So goalkeeper on the bench. Are we going Shea Given or Pav or because you mentioned those names already? Apparently, I'm glowing today. So I've got a pregnancy.
It must be the pregnant. I wondered how long it would take him to pipe up.
Radiant.
You're looking radiant, Baz. You've got that.
Do I hold it and put Shearer on the bench? I love it.
No.
You
goalkeeper,
can't just say Shearer's got to be better.
Given.
No. Given,
it's got to be Shea Given, I think.
Yeah, I think so because he loved them, didn't he?
Yeah.
Right. So we're doing a defender next. 2 defenders, 2 midfielders, 2 strikers. Yeah.
Yeah. Which defender? So Frank
I think
Clark
he wanted Albert and Clark, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well. Yeah. Because we've got. Yeah.
Because that's what we mentioned. We couldn't pick between them, could we? And then the bench should be really easy to do because you mentioned a lot of names already. So we've got 2 midfielders. There's a bit of a debate for this, I suppose, because we only got 2, and it's 4 positions you're covering. So any of the names you've mentioned, there were quite a lot. Who would Dave want on his bench to change a game?
Who have we got in the starting 11 in the middle? Batty and
Beardsley. The middle. No, it was
Green and Beardsley.
Green and
Beardsley.
Right. I'll definitely shout out for McCreary, Billy, because I think he was a big fan of David McCreary. So I think it'd be a travesty if we couldn't get McCreary in there somehow. What about another one, Bill? I know he thought a lot of Rob Lee.
Robert Lee, yeah, because he covers all the places. He could cover everywhere across the midfield as well, couldn't he? So,
and he could score goals as well.
And he could score goals.
Yeah,
he scored some great goals. So, centre forward, obviously Milburn. That's not even a debate.
No, we need one more.
But then we need one more. So this is where the debate comes in. So you've got the likes of Andy Cole that he loved, Les Ferdinand, and then all the other strikers that you mentioned before as well.
Who's the manager going to be?
Oh, that's up to you.
Hang on, let's get the substitute sorted out, Billy, because the manager's.
I'm saying one of them could be. If we're going to pick one, then he doesn't have to be a substitute.
Oh, Keegan.
I know, but there's a
yeah.
Hell's
I mean, Keegan's only had two seasons. Really. I mean, God, he was a great player. He kind of was the rebirth, wasn't he?
But we're talking about Dave's here. I mean,
Andy Cole.
Yeah, I'd agree with Billy. Andy Cole.
Yeah,
he loved Andy Cole.
He did.
I mean, there's so many we could put there. You know, you've got. Oh God, you've got some greats down the years. You've got.
It's Ferdinand,
Hosselu,
Riviere.
Yeah, let's not forget Riviere. Thomason, Niall Ranger.
So
Best.
So manager. So there's 3 names that we've all spoke about: Joe Harvey, Kevin Keegan, Bobby Robson. Again, I suppose it's the style of football that David would want to watch, but obviously he saw us win the last trophy we ever won, didn't he? So.
See, I mean, obviously, we were talking before the show about Joe Harvey. He thought the world of Joe Harvey, but then again, he thought the world of Bob, Sir Bob. And, I think
If I'm right, I'm sure he picked Bobby Robson for his dinner date, didn't he?
He did. And he always spoke so highly about him. And since he's passed away, we've always been saying, oh, you know, he'll be sitting up there with Sir Bobby now talking about football. I think we've got to go Bobby, haven't we, Billy?
I think you're right. I think you're right.
Because of the way
it's quite apt, actually, because I mean, Joe Harvey's style, Kevin Keegan's style, so Bobby's kind of perfectly in the middle of those two.
Yeah. Assistant corner, Jesus Christ! Right, the people.
We'll put Joe Harvey as assistant.
There we go. We found a way to get them both in.
Yeah.
Assistant. It's a very cavalier team, isn't it? I love it.
And Kevin Keegan's not involved in it in any shape, Will.
No, he's not.
No, I tell you what, we'll put a team ambassador in there as Kevin Keegan.
Yeah.
Club ambassador, Kevin Keegan. There you go.
Well, what we'll do is we'll put assistant to the coach. Oh man, assistant to the coach.
Because to be fair, he loved all three of them. I mean, he really did. So you know, it'd be.
Well, can you imagine them three as a dream team on the bench?
Wow.
I mean, Jesus Christ!
Can you imagine watching that starting 11? Jesus.
I know.
I mean, God. I mean, we haven't even got Celez in there. You know, I mean, but then again, Celez didn't. You know, we're talking about players that Dave thinks are or used to speak about as legendary players at the club, and you know that we know for a fact that the guys that we've got in there, Dave thought very highly of. So I think we've picked a good side there.
I think we really have. Don't forget, guys, any donations from today's show, there's been a few already, will go straight to Paul for David. So if you want to, I mean, you've got one or two more shows you said last night, didn't you, that you were going to do it for? And the pots, I think it's well over $2,000, isn't it? Once you've totaled everything up.
To be honest, Baz, I have no idea because obviously I need to take away the tax and stuff that
keep forgetting about that
and stuff. So I'll know probably a couple of weeks' time really when it's all sorted.
Said and done. Yeah, right. Let's share this. You got to get through the adverts, haven't you? To get the app. Blah 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 blah. Save the camera roll, and then we'll put it up on the screen. So I apologise for the horrible noise that's about to happen because I need to come into StreamYard and add it.
Beg your pardon? It's a bit early.
You were talking about threesomes before, so don't even go there. Right, I'm going to put my mic on mute because it's going to get loud. All right.
Bated breath.
I know. It's like we should have had a drum roll for this, shouldn't we? Hey,
there it is.
Wow, look at that.
That ain't a bad side at all, is it?
Oh my God! Can you imagine, Billy, the service that McDonald and Shearer would get from that midfield? You know, you've got a ball winner in green who will just simply give it to Beardsley and put us on the attack. We've got two fullbacks with engines up and down the pitch, who can both cross a football. By the way, we've got two absolutely solid centre backs there who would take no crap, and then we've got McFall in goal, who was just an outstanding goalkeeper. Absolutely, I think that is just I think Dave would be. I mean, God, he would be proud of that team. I'm sure he would. That is one hell of an 11.
Certainly is.
I agree. I'm actually really jealous we're never going to get to see it.
I know. Yeah. Jesus.
Yeah, take that team right now. Looks proper filth. What a way to sum it up there.
I mean, listen, the fullbacks. I mean, listen, Warren Barton wasn't the greatest, player, but it just the fact of his passion for the black and white shirt, his passion for Newcastle United, and what an all-round hero he was of Dave's. He simply has to be in that team, and you know, I mean, for me, I mean, I've seen people say that Warren Barton wasn't, you know, a great player, but I loved Warren Barton. I just loved him right back.
He was a great player.
I thought he was as well. I really did. And I, you know, you can't.
I think he came with a hefty price tag, didn't he? And he didn't exactly score the goal or get up the wing and cross the ball in loads where people associate.
But he admits that when he came from Wimbledon, though, it was a completely, you know, he was starstruck in a way when he walked into the dressing room and he saw certain names, and then when he came out onto the pitch, the size of the stadium. I mean, obviously it was smaller than it is now, but you know,
32,000 then.
Yeah, you know, the new Gallagher end was on, the Leazes end was on. It was just the Milburn didn't have level 7 back then, but you know, it was still the atmosphere. It was completely different to what he was used to at Wimbledon. Much more professional system, and he talks about that all the time.
Yeah, he does,
So you know, but he was, for Dave, you know, he was an absolute hero, and you know, he's just got to be in there. It's as simple as that. It's Dave's 11 at the end of the day.
Definitely. Thank you, Andrew, for becoming a member. I really appreciate that.
Yeah, same as Obafemi Martin's turning
21
last
Obafemi
week.
Martin's, yeah, that was brilliant one. That came up last night, didn't it?
Yeah.
But there we have it. There's Dave's 11. We've done the subs. I'll tweet it out. I'll copy Warren Barton into it as well, because I'm sure he'll be very pleased after he spoke to him that he's made his team as well.
Yeah.
We'll put a few of the other guys on the tweet as well. We'll put Shearer in it as well, see if we can get it trending, because it'll be nice for everyone to see it. And it's been a great show, guys. Obviously, we've had a great laugh, which is what he would have wanted. Like I say, all donations from the show, you know, once I work out, I mean, sod what YouTube take off it, we'll still put in whatever people have put in.
Yeah.
And then me, Billy, and the guys will have a chat and have a bit of a whip round, and we'll send you some money over for it. And like I said, I would like to be there. It all depends on this baby. But when the funeral is, and I will do my best to get up as well, because it'll be good to be there, even if I can't be at the actual thing. You know, just being in Newcastle at the time would be.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we don't know what. Certainly, haven't spoken to Donna or anybody about the funeral yet. It's you know, let them. They need to grieve, etc. And
yeah, of course,
we all do, but the family especially. And from what I can gather, the funeral's not going to be for a while anyway. So it gives people. And we don't know what's happening with COVID rules and stuff. I'd imagine that, you know, even if COVID rules, then, you know, it's going to be a case of only allowed certain many people in, but there'll still be people outside, you know, and even if I have to stand outside in the court, I don't care.
We'll stand in a pub, mate, and have a drink.
Yeah, well, wherever it may be,
well.
but obviously we'll know more as the days go by, but, you know, it's not something that I've brought up with them anyway, so...
Yeah, it's been brilliant. Right, so there's one last little tribute for him. I spent a little bit of time last night doing this. I thought it would be a good way to end the show. And hopefully people will put a smile on their face and maybe a little tear in their eye as well at the same time. But guys, I've really enjoyed it today. I will see you later on this afternoon, Paul.
Yep, definitely.
About 3:30, might be a little bit earlier.
I'll aim for 3 o'clock today for the live show, for because that we'll be talking about the press conference as well, so I just need to get all the quotes and that up on StreamYard for the show. But it'll be at 3 o'clock, so it'll be live on the Toon Review.
Brilliant, and I'll hopefully be there as long as this hospital appointment goes well, and it's a quick in and out. Fingers crossed. She's getting sick of sitting in hospital, so
I'm not surprised.
Fingers crossed. But see you at 3 o'clock, Billy. We've got nothing until Saturday night, so we might do a watch along on Saturday if we can find a stream as well.
I'm sure you'll find a stream, Baz.
Yeah, we will. I always do.
Yeah.
But from the world of sport, we're out. Thank you very much for the memories, Dave. And everyone have a great day and a great weekend.